What's going on, bank killers? Jonathan Levy here, and stick around because in this video I'm going to share with you where you should and where you definitely should not be buying Bitcoin. Hey there everyone, Jonathan Levy, and if you have reached this video, you are considering buying Bitcoin. So first off, good on you. Congratulations on what I believe, not investment advice, but I believe to be a really awesome decision, an investment into the future, a hedge against all kinds of different inflation and uncertainty, and just generally all around the future of finance. But here is the big question. Where exactly should you buy Bitcoin? And let me tell you, I see a lot of people get this wrong. When you first start out, you might be looking at some of these easy trading apps that make it so simple to buy Bitcoin instantly with no fees. And you can get this wrong and you can make a mistake that will cost you tens of thousands of dollars in taxes later on when you realize that you have to sell there for unknown and unforeseen reasons. Allow me to explain. As Bitcoin has become so much more popular, more and more players are entering the space and trying to get a piece of the action when it comes to this highly lucrative market. Most notably, recently, Cash App, PayPal, and various others such as Uphold and even Robinhood are now offering the opportunity to buy Bitcoin on their platforms. But you've got to be careful, because technically what's happening on a lot of these platforms, specifically Robinhood and PayPal, is they aren't actually selling you Bitcoin. What they're doing is selling you an IOU, similar to how you would get shares on Robinhood, but you're not really getting Bitcoin itself. And if you don't believe me, just try to transfer your funds out of Robinhood or PayPal, and you will see that they will not allow you to do so. Now, this is a huge no-no, because one of the most important fundamentals of Bitcoin, the real essence of what makes it so revolutionary, is the idea of self-custody. You control your funds, not a bank, not a broker, not a government, and not a financial institution. And if you can't transfer your Bitcoin out of an exchange, then honestly, what's the point of having it? It's kind of like buying a Ferrari and just keeping it in the garage, not actually using any of the features and never turning on the motor. I don't know if you're car people, but that to me sounds absolutely crazy. Now, I know so many of my friends who didn't know any better, and when they got started, they saw Bitcoin on the Robinhood app, they were already in there trading Tesla stock or whatever, they saw PayPal offer, and all of a sudden they find themselves investing in Bitcoin. Don't do it this way. What you do want to do is find a proper cryptocurrency exchange. Now, you have a lot of different options here, depending on your locality, depending on where you are, and honestly, there are always new ones coming out all the time. But I want to tell you a little bit about a few that I like and a few that I really don't like. Let's start out with the ones that I really do like. Personally, I believe that Kraken is probably the world's best cryptocurrency exchange. It is headquartered in the West. It has never had any major hacks or any kind of other problems, and their servers usually stay up pretty well during all kinds of crazy price activity and tons of increased traffic. I also find that Kraken has a good balance of offering all different kinds of cryptocurrencies while staying away from some of the hype and BS and stupid stuff. I've used Kraken a lot in the past, and although they don't have any kind of sign-on bonus, I think you'll find that their fees are very competitive, especially if you do limit orders on your purchases, either taking or making. So instead of clicking the buy crypto button and buying instantly, submitting an order with a limit and allowing that order to be taken or automatically executed is going to save you a ton on fees. Another exchange that I really like, and that actually gives you $20 free if you sign up with a referral link in the comments below, hint, is Bitstamp. Bitstamp has been around for a really, really long time, and they're not super fancy. They don't have all kinds of crazy features, and their website is not super beautiful to look at least at the time of this recording, but they're a really solid exchange with a solid security history and really, really favorable fees. They also do allow you to trade with limits and all other kinds of trading expert features that you might want, but honestly, I don't use because I just buy and hold and I don't mess around with margins or derivatives or any of that other stuff. Bitstamp is a really, really good option if you're based in Europe or in the United States, and you can actually get, again, $20 free if you sign up below. The next exchange I want to talk about is Bitfinex, and this is one that has been around for a really, really long time as well. Bitfinex has a little bit of higher fees as far as I understand, at least at the time of this recording, but they do have one thing that none of the other exchanges I mentioned before have yet, and that is the ability to deposit and withdraw in Lightning. So this makes it so much cheaper to withdraw or deposit Bitcoin because the Lightning Network has a fraction of the fees. And that's a good thing because one of the things I hate about Bitfinex is as of right now, they're charging 0.0004 Bitcoin to withdraw, which is insane. Right now, the mempool is empty and you can do Bitcoin transactions for 1 Satoshi per byte, and yet they are charging for 40,000 Satoshis to transfer your funds out on chain. So if you're going to use Bitfinex, make sure that you deposit and withdraw through Lightning, or if you want to buy larger amounts, you probably should check out another exchange. Oh, one more exchange that I want to add that I really do like, and it's a new one, is River. River is a really, really basic exchange. They only sell Bitcoin and they allow you to buy and sell as well as withdrawing off platform. They also support Lightning Network, which is really, really cool, but all this is actually not why I like River. The reason I like River is they make it super easy to set up dollar cost averaging purchases. If you aren't familiar with dollar cost averaging, it's the idea that you should buy a set amount of Bitcoin every single week, no matter what, if the price goes up or down, and avoid the entire psychological pitfall and stress of trying to time the market and buy at the right time. Over time, DCA, or dollar cost averaging, is the best strategy if you want to profit in Bitcoin. Buy, hold, buy more, and hold more. And I love that River makes it super, super easy for you to do so without having to get into a complex trading platform. So I definitely like River, and if you use my link below, you can trade up to $10,000 in Bitcoin for free with absolutely no fees. And that's a really, really great deal because honestly, otherwise, River's fees are really, really high. Now let's go ahead and talk about some of the exchanges that I don't like. I don't like Binance. I find that it is so loaded with all kinds of shitcoins. It is not regulated in the West. It is a Chinese exchange, which is now based in the Middle East, and that's a whole scary, confusing thing that I don't want to get into. And I find their interface to be very confusing. They have all kinds of features which I think are really dangerous for beginners, such as margin trading, derivatives, staking on platform, and all kinds of other things that honestly, I don't think you should be messing around with, especially if you're a beginner. Whenever I see people tell me that they are trading on Binance, I honestly freak out a little bit because I've seen so many people lose their shirts and get wrecked because they start getting sucked in to Binance features such as margin trading. Personally, I don't see any benefit to trading on Binance unless, of course, you can't get onto other exchanges and can't get KYC'd. Or know you're customered or verified. Another two places that I don't like to see people buying Bitcoin are BlockFi and Celsius. Don't get me wrong, I think BlockFi and Celsius are really, really cool. If you do want to stake some of your cryptocurrency, you can do so and earn interest on your crypto. In fact, they both give a nice little benefit. I believe BlockFi gives $20 and Celsius gives $40. So check out my links below if you do want to stake some of your Bitcoin. Just know that you are taking a risk if you do stake your Bitcoin. And that is why I don't so much like to see people buying Bitcoin on Celsius or BlockFi. I find that they do make it very easy for you to buy Bitcoin, but at the same time, you tend to keep it in there, and that is a custodial wallet which you do not have access to. And hopefully, if you've been watching this channel by now, you know that I am so against custodial wallets. It's the reason I don't want to see people trading on PayPal. It's the reason I am so against what Robinhood is doing, and it's the reason that I'm always harping on about hardware wallets and having your own keys and seed phrases. So I don't recommend you stay away from these platforms entirely. I'm totally cool if you want to stake a small percentage of your Bitcoin on these platforms, but I don't really see any benefit to buying Bitcoin on Celsius, BlockFi, Nexo, and so on. Now, finally, the last exchange that I want to mention for exchanges that I don't like, and I think this is going to surprise you, Coinbase. I don't like Coinbase, and so many old school, hardcore Bitcoiners who've been holding for a long time also don't like Coinbase. And the reason is simple. Their fees are insanely expensive, especially if you are doing the over-the-counter buy Bitcoin now button. And even on Coinbase Pro, their fees are really, really expensive. In addition to that, I honestly judge Coinbase a lot because they do a lot of educational efforts for people on how to secure their Bitcoin, and they don't mention to people that you can transfer the Bitcoin off of Coinbase. In fact, they very much want to keep your Bitcoin on their platform, and that's why they call their app a wallet, even though it is a custodial wallet. They don't offer you your seed, and honestly, I believe that they're misleading Bitcoiners into making huge mistakes. And guess what? If you browse Reddit, you are going to see a long list of people whose Coinbase account got hacked because of a SIM swap or any other thing. Don't get me started, but I don't like Coinbase. I think they're doing a huge disservice to the community by misinforming people about how to secure their Coinbase wallet as opposed to transferring into a wallet whose keys you control. Now, finally, before I let you all go, I want to let you know about one really cool exchange, which I'm kind of on the fence about, and that is Bisq. Bisq is actually run by the folks who created mempool.space, one of the best, in my opinion, block explorers in the entire ecosystem, and it has a really new and unique approach. Like another exchange, HODL HODL, Bisq is a completely decentralized peer-to-peer exchange. And that's really, really cool if you don't want companies or governments knowing how much Bitcoin you purchased. Now, I am not advocating you avoid paying your taxes. Tax evasion is a crime, but you might enjoy the privacy of not having one company know all your Bitcoin purchases and transactions. Now, I've played around with Bisq a little bit and found it to be pretty interesting, but the interface is still pretty clunky, and it is a little more complicated to trade on a decentralized exchange. You're going to have to make a security deposit, you're going to have to send payment to a peer or receive payment from a peer, and you are going to be limited in how much you can transact until you build up some credibility on the exchange. I also found that the Bisq exchange, because it has to load the decentralized DAO, or decentralized autonomous organization blockchain onto your computer, it consumes a ton of resources, and also you can't actually have your offers accepted if your computer is off. So as far as exchanges go, this is probably a more advanced one, and the only reason I would really see for you to transact on it is if you really value your privacy and don't want an exchange or a government knowing exactly how much Bitcoin you own. All right, so that is my list of where to buy and where definitely not to buy Bitcoin as of 2021, but I have a feeling that this list is going to remain relevant many years into the future. Starting a cryptocurrency exchange is pretty difficult, and honestly, the ones that are not that good of players have had many years to try and improve, and they haven't done it. Which cryptocurrency exchange do you like using and why? I would love to hear in the comments below. And if you haven't already, please make sure to hit that subscribe button and support what we're doing here. We're going to be coming out with lots more videos to help train and educate you about Bitcoin and why and how you should get involved. Thanks for watching and happy hodling.